Hi, good day to all. I am Vijay Kumar, an engineer from Osmania University, and subsequently I have done my management studies from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. I have more than 25 plus years of experience in the education sector. I have been in various avatars from taking leadership roles, mentoring and teaching, and more than anything, being in the space of education, we are all learners first. So I've been a continuous learner all throughout. Well, today I'm going to touch upon a topic specifically pertaining to K-12 schooling in the education sector, specifically dealing with the learning processes of a child. My own experience is that never say no to a child when it comes to making decisions with respect to learnings by the child. To be honest, we've seen pros and cons in terms of this. Why should we not say no, or why should we have the right to say no with respect to a child? What I want to share today is our own experiences in life, validated by a lot of research work at the back end by eminent educationists and psychologists across the globe. And I'm very particular over here, even before we start and communicate, that never say no to a child is confined specifically to the education processes in a formal K-12 schools where you are preparing the child for life. Parenting is a different aspect altogether. That's a different subject and topic. So we're not going to touch about parenting over here at all. This is the time when the nation was preparing itself to implement the National Curriculum Framework 2005 for all the CBSE schools in India. The whole methodology of assessment was changed from specific test-based examinations to a holistic kind of an assessment of a child. So the concept of continuous comprehensive evaluations by way of formative assessments and summative assessments were introduced into the academic system for the first time in our country, where we are talking about basically a child being assessed all throughout the year rather than just having a midterm and an end term exam. And one of the key reforms made by NCF 2005 is that they made the 10th board exams optional. Unfortunately, the implementation of the same actually took quite some time by the government. Some of the prominent schools across the country started adopting this particular curriculum and methodology of assessment at least 2 or 3 years before actually the government has implemented the same, hoping that it will be rolled out shortly. In reality, on the ground, the students in the 7th and 8th grade got accustomed to this new curriculum and the continuous comprehensive examinations and not the regular formal examinations, etc. It so happened that these children entered 9th grade and still the education bodies had not announced the implementation of NCF 2005. At this juncture, we were at crossroads, not knowing which path to take for the 10th board exams, whether we should prepare our children for 10th board exams or not. This is where actually the challenge came for all of us. These set of students actually who were in the 7th and the 8th grade blossomed brilliantly with the new methods of NCF 2005, with the core of it being holistic education. The children who entered 9th grade were not prepared at all to take the rigor of a regular board exam that would be taking the next academic year. The onus of preparing them for the boards lay heavily on our shoulders. There were about 36 students in grade 9 who would actually be appearing for the 10th grade board exams down the road the following year. The situation was discussed with the students openly, and out of the 36 students, close to 17 children were reluctant or not prepared to get into the regular kind of testing in terms of unit tests, quarterly, midterm and end-term examinations, because for the past 2 years they were into formative and summative examinations, and we do not hold any of our children for this. Normally, it would have been an easy decision for a school to say no, blaming the system, and would force the children to fall in line, get into the classrooms and start preparing for their examinations in the old pattern. Not just us, but also the parents were worried. We too felt that these 17 kids were actually asking was right, because for 2 years before that, they actually were not exposed to the formal testing kind of an environment. After talking to the parents and taking them into confidence, we embarked on a journey of a lifetime experience. We prepared thoroughly and decided, let's handle the children in a different manner, especially when it comes to saying yes or no. So what we did was, let's empower the kids and see what's going to happen, and we shall play the role of only mentors and guide them appropriately. Now, all the 36 children were given an option to choose what they wanted to do, and 19 opted for getting into a regular academic schedule, and the balance 17 of the children opted to continue what they were doing for the past 2 years. So 2 sections were created, one for the 19 children, and we called them section A, and one separate section, that is section B, for the 17 children who were not willing to go through the rigor. For the 17 children from section B, we gave the power to make decisions for themselves in terms of timetabling, assessment processes, etc. They actually came out with a crazy timetable, 2 hours of swimming daily, more of art and craft classes, etc. The core courses like math and science took a back seat. We agreed to let them do what they wanted to do and decided to observe what they are actually going to do. They had designed their own timetable and we rolled it out as per their wish. The other side of the coin, the parents were worried, but the bonding between the parents and the institution too cooperated, and we all moved forward. But what happened within 60 days was actually an eye-opener. As time was going by, the kids in section A who opted for regular ACADS were focused on ACADS, were doing the unit tests, etc., and were moving forward. But 17 kids in section B had more fun kind of a timetable. Subjects like music, art, craft, dance, swimming, games were more predominant than the actual subject matters. But as time was passing by, we saw that 2 to 3 students moving away from section B to section A. And slowly over a period of 60 days, we saw that all the 17 kids also fell in line. And this happened not by us forcing them, but they making a choice and a conscious decision of getting back to academics. This outcome was really heartwarming to all of us, especially the parents. These children were brought up in a different kind of an environment in terms of not being fearless, right to question, and were one of those who would not accept anything without reasoning. Eventually, this bunch of kids actually went through the 10th board exams, and their average GPA was more than the rest of the section A. We observed the children getting into the academics by choice rather than just saying no to their opinion. It was more of helping them understand, resolve, and to make decisions. Fundamentally, the education process, especially in school, should focus on mentoring children and preparing them for life. The most important and critical thing here is that we should help them face the reality and create experiential learnings for life. It has been proved beyond time and again that if you push anybody by saying no, the big no gets registered at the subconscious level. Let's work on constructing positive attitude. what we strongly believe or what we have in the real world education systems is that if we are able to empower the children, then they will start thinking, and once they start thinking, they will make appropriate decisions. The role of us is only to be there to ensure to guide them and mentor them towards a well-informed decision. It's very obvious that when you're saying no, no, no to a child for doing anything or any activity, he will eventually look out for a way to do it. They will definitely make an adventure to experience it. Let's be very honest with ourselves. We also have gone through that age. Our parents or teachers said no for so many things. You're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, etc. But eventually we have done it and we've learned it through our own personal experiences and realized what is right for us and what is not right for us. If we have done that, why can't we do it for our own children and create an environment to our children to, under guidance, to experience life and help them learn? So my appeal to the education fraternity is, let's help our children make well-informed decisions and prepare them for life, because there are a lot more important things. Here the most challenging part is managing the growing years, and when we are talking about the age group of 12 to 16 or 18 years, that is till the child is in a school, it is very important for the child to understand what is right for them and what is not right for them. Just by putting a blanket no and to force them to toe our line is not going to solve issues or help them learn. We need to ensure to help them learn, help them understand, and chalk out a course for themselves where the child learns through experience and makes a decision. In fact, the same holds true to the primary and also the pre-primary children. I reiterate once again that if we keep on saying no, 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 the negative affirmative, whatever they want to do in life, the first thing that comes up in their head is a big no. After growing up, they need to work around it. So in the first place, why should we create it? We can use positive words, we can talk positively with the children and bring them out of a situation and make them understand. Now, what is this all about? What is actually happening over here? From a psychological point of view, we are actually conditioning our child when we are saying no and parallelly building fear in them. That's when he gets into negativity or negative side of the whole thing. So my contention is, let's not build fear in our children. Let's reason out with them and help them understand what's happening around them and hold their hand and how you can help them grow. Unfortunately, in the concrete jungle that we are living in and the system that we are in, knowingly or unknowingly, we start building fear into our children. And it starts from pretty young age. In fact, it starts in the infant stage itself. Especially when we are feeding the little babies in the evening, we show them the moon and sing songs, lullabies, etc. to ensure the child eats properly. But when the child is not eating, we try to create fear in the child to eat and say, if you don't eat, the devil, that is the moon, is going to take you away. Here is the actual nemesis, and we are pumping fear into our kids. All of us are aware of the fact that to be an effective human being and a leader, one should be fearless. The basic point is, when one is nurtured in a fearless environment, questioning starts. When children start asking questions, we do not answer. Most of them because of our preoccupation, or maybe we ourselves don't know. When children persist with their questions, another dimension opens up and it is considered as indiscipline. Now, unfortunately, that's a different subject, discipline and indiscipline by itself. But to put it in a nutshell, according to our school of thought, discipline is all about helping a child understand how to conduct in a particular environment, period. Discipline is all about how the child conducts themselves in a given environment. If in a dining hall, need to know the etiquette there, how they need to conduct themselves in a classroom, how they need to conduct themselves in a playground, how they need to conduct themselves amongst elders, etc. So discipline is not something regimental or rigid. The child should understand how to conduct himself in a given environment and whichever society he is moving into. And here we play a critical role in helping them understand environments around. Helping children learn the nuances of the art of making the right choice and preparing them for life should be the primary or key goal of any education system. This can be achieved only when we do not condition them and stop their learning by not creating the big no's in their life and help them to grow without fear. Just for information, these 17 children are doing extremely well in their lives, and I wholeheartedly thank them for giving this lifetime experience to us, and I thank Osmania TEDx for giving us this opportunity to share our ideas.